Tammy Slatton's connection with her family members on the show 1,000-Pound Sisters is a difficult one. She is reliant in the support of her family, yet she is quick to strike out against her relatives when they are honest with her. Over the course of the first 2 seasons of 1,000-Pound Sisters, Tammy has been involved in more than her fair share of disagreements with her siblings, Amy Slatton and Chris Combs. Here is everything there is to know about Tammy's tense relationship with her family members, from the charges she has made in the past against members of her family to the fights she gets into with her sister during the 3rd season. Throughout the existence of 1,000-Pound Sisters, it is certain that the Slatton family has exerted a significant lot of work in order to provide Tammy with the care that she requires. Regrettably, it does not always appear as though Tammy is grateful for the care that her family provides for her, and she occasionally harbors resentment towards her siblings because of how much she relies on them. Additionally, anytime Amy or Chris express their worries about Tammy's health, the reality star is known to become defensive, and the scenario escalates into an argument with her distraught family member. This is a common occurrence. Fans are unsure of what it is that drives Tammy to strike out at her family in such a dramatic manner. Nevertheless, based on Tammy's behavior on the program and what she has spoken about her early upbringing, some inferences may be formed regarding what causes her to engage in such behavior. There has not been as much of an improvement in Tammy's health as her family had anticipated there would be in the show 1,000-Pound Sisters. During the 2nd season, Tammy did not see any weight loss, but rather had weight increase. Because of this, there have been occasional disagreements between Tammy and her family, particularly between Amy and Chris. They have made efforts to communicate with Tammy in order to encourage her to improve her eating habits and to get rid of men whom they consider to be enablers. In addition, the teaser for the 3rd season shows Tammy and her sister Amy engaged in a wrestling match. The fact that Tammy reacts negatively to the assistance that her siblings provide is probably due to the fact that she holds her family responsible for her weight gain. It was mentioned by Tammy that her grandma was the one who brought her up because her mother was absent when she was growing up. Tammy was forced to take care of her own nutrition after the death of her grandma. It is possible that Tammy's sadness was the impetus for the beginning of her addiction to food. The fact that Tammy, a reality personality, has said in the past that she was molested by her family is another issue that contributes to the perplexing nature of her connection with her brothers. Tammy allegedly accused her family of both mental and physical abuse in a video that she released to her renowned YouTube channel in the year 2018. This information was provided by SoapDirt. The actress from 1,000-Pound Sisters made the following accusation against her family. About my family. They are mentally and sometimes physically abusive. However, she did not list any specific individuals. However, viewers have shown a healthy amount of skepticism towards Amy and Tammy's mother, Darlene, despite the fact that Tammy's charges are not detailed enough to make any firm conclusions. In every instance in which the mother of the reality stars is featured on the show, she gives the impression of being uncaring and unsupportive of her daughter's efforts to reduce their weight. Whether or not Tammy believes that her mother did not offer her with the necessary emotional support while she was growing up is something that many viewers would not be surprised to learn. It is possible that Tammy's repeated outbursts might be explained by the lack of confidence that she has in her family. Throughout the course of the Slatton family's voyage on 1,000-Pound Sisters, the tension that Tammy has with her mother and siblings has only grown to become more intense. It is possible that Tammy's violent behavior might be explained by her unresolved grief as well as the emotional neglect she endured during her childhood. This is despite the fact that Tammy's behavior is extremely irritating. Tammy and her siblings are going to have a difficult season of 1,000-Pound Sisters ahead of them since the problems that they are having with their family are continuing to worsen. The reality TV show 1,000-Pound Sisters, featuring Amy and Tammy Slatton, has captivated audiences since its debut. While much of the show revolves around their weight loss journeys, the personal dynamics between Tammy and her family, particularly her relationship with her sister Amy, have become a focal point. Tammy's interactions with her family are often fraught with tension, frustration, and emotional turmoil. leading fans to wonder why these relationships are so rocky. In this article, we'll explore the complexities of Tammy's relationship with her family, considering factors such as her upbringing, emotional struggles, health challenges, and the pressures of reality TV. 1. Childhood and family dynamics. To understand why Tammy's relationship with her family is strained, it's important to look at her and Amy's early years. The Slatton sisters grew up in Dixon, Kentucky, in a household that struggled financially. Their mother, Darlene, was a single parent who worked long hours, leaving Tammy and Amy to fend for themselves much of the time. This lack of parental involvement at an early age likely impacted Tammy emotionally, contributing to a deep-seated feeling of abandonment and resentment that has carried into her adult life. Tammy has spoken openly about how she and Amy often turned to food for comfort during their childhood. Food became a coping mechanism to deal with loneliness, stress, and the challenges of growing up in a household where love and support were scarce. The sisters' emotional reliance on food laid the groundwork for their future struggles with obesity, and these early experiences also played a role in shaping Tammy's view of family relationships. While Amy was able to find some semblance of independence and emotional strength through her marriage to Michael Halterman and her role as a mother, Tammy has remained dependent on her family in many ways, which has exacerbated tensions. The contrast between Amy's more settled life and Tammy's ongoing struggles creates friction, as Tammy often feels left behind or neglected. 2. Dependency on family for care. Tammy's health issues have placed an enormous burden on her family, especially Amy, who has been her primary caregiver for much of her life. Tammy's weight has caused a range of health problems, including difficulty walking, breathing issues, and severe mobility restrictions, making her dependent on her family for basic daily tasks. This dependency has led to feelings of guilt, frustration, and resentment on both sides. Amy, who has her own life to manage with her husband and children, often finds herself torn between caring for her sister and focusing on her own family. This dynamic creates a great deal of strain. Amy has expressed feelings of exhaustion and frustration on the show, particularly when Tammy refuses to make progress in her weight loss journey or shows signs of self-destructive behavior. This cycle of dependence, with Tammy needing care and Amy feeling trapped in the role of caretaker, has led to multiple explosive arguments between the sisters. Tammy's reliance on her family has also led her to develop a sense of entitlement, expecting her family members to be at her beck and call. This has caused frequent clashes, especially with Amy and their brother Chris, who have both expressed their frustrations about constantly having to step in and help. The emotional toll of caring for Tammy has caused rifts, leaving Tammy feeling unsupported and her family feeling overwhelmed. 3. Tammy's struggles with mental health. Mental health issues have played a significant role in Tammy's rocky relationship with her family. Throughout the show, viewers have seen Tammy struggle with depression, anxiety, and feelings of hopelessness. These emotional battles have led her to lash out at those closest to her, including Amy and other family members. Tammy has admitted that she sometimes uses anger as a defense mechanism, pushing people away when she feels vulnerable. This behavior often leaves her isolated, further exacerbating her mental health struggles and creating a vicious cycle of emotional instability. For her family, it's been difficult to navigate Tammy's mood swings and understand how best to support her without enabling her unhealthy habits. Amy, in particular, has expressed concern about Tammy's mental health, often pleading with her to seek therapy or counseling. While Tammy has made efforts to improve her emotional well-being, such as attending therapy sessions on the show, progress has been slow, and her tendency to revert to negative behavior patterns remains a major source of tension within the family. Mental health issues can be particularly difficult to manage in a reality TV setting, where personal challenges are broadcast to millions of viewers. Tammy has had to deal with not only the weight of her physical health issues, but also the emotional toll of public scrutiny. Her outbursts and clashes with family members are often captured on camera, leading to additional stress and feelings of embarrassment or shame. The pressure to perform for the camera, coupled with her existing mental health struggles, has contributed to Tammy's ongoing rocky relationship with her family. 4. Self-sabotage and family frustration. One of the most painful aspects of Tammy's journey for her family has been witnessing her tendency towards self-sabotage. Over the course of 1,000-Pound Sisters, Tammy has repeatedly made decisions that undermine her own progress, whether it's neglecting her diet, refusing to exercise, or continuing to engage in toxic relationships. For her family, watching Tammy backslide time and again has been heartbreaking and infuriating. Amy, Chris, and other family members have often expressed frustration that Tammy seems unwilling to help herself. Their repeated efforts to encourage her to take her health seriously have been met with resistance, and Tammy has sometimes reacted with anger when confronted about her choices. Tammy's self-sabotaging behavior likely stems from a combination of fear, low self-esteem, and a deep-seated belief that she is not capable of change. In moments of vulnerability, Tammy has admitted that she feels like a failure and worries that she'll never be able to meet the expectations of her family or herself. These feelings of inadequacy often lead her to retreat into old, unhealthy habits, which only perpetuates the cycle of self-destruction. Tammy's family members, especially Amy, have voiced their concerns repeatedly, only to be met with defensiveness or denial. This ongoing battle has led to emotional exhaustion on both sides, with her family members feeling as though they are fighting a losing battle, and Tammy feeling attacked or misunderstood. 5. Reality TV and the public eye. Another key factor contributing to Tammy's rocky relationship with her family is the impacts of reality TV. Being in the public eye has intensified the pressure on Tammy and her family, as their personal struggles are put on display for millions of viewers. The scrutiny and judgment that come with being on a reality show have added an additional layer of stress to an already strained dynamic. For Tammy, the attention has been a double-edged sword. On one hand, the fame and platform have given her opportunities she might not have had otherwise, including access to medical care and support that could help her improve her health. On the other hand, the constant public attention has amplified her insecurities and made her feel even more scrutinized by both her family and the audience. Amy, who initially pushed for the sisters to be on reality TV, has also struggled with the pressures of fame. While Amy has managed to use her platform to build a life for herself and her family, Tammy has often expressed feelings of jealousy and frustration, believing that Amy's success has come at her own expense. This perceived inequality has contributed to the tension between the sisters, with Tammy feeling as though Amy's life is progressing while hers remains stagnant. The reality TV environment can also distort family dynamics. On camera, small disagreements can be blown out of proportion, and family members may feel pressure to perform or present themselves in a certain way for the audience. This can create a sense of artificiality in their interactions, making it difficult for Tammy and her family to have genuine, honest conversations without the intrusion of the cameras. 6. Emotional distance and breakdown in communication. One of the most noticeable aspects of Tammy's relationship with her family is the emotional distance that has developed over time. Tammy often feels misunderstood by her family, while her family feels that she doesn't appreciate their efforts to help her. This breakdown in communication has led to a growing emotional chasm, with both sides feeling disconnected from one another. Tammy's tendency to shut down emotionally during difficult conversations has been a major barrier to resolving conflicts. When her family members try to address issues with her, Tammy often becomes defensive or disengages entirely, making it nearly impossible for productive dialogue to occur. This has left her family feeling helpless and frustrated, as they are unable to reach Tammy on an emotional level. On the flip side, Tammy has expressed feelings of abandonment and loneliness, particularly when her family members set boundaries or distance themselves from her. For Tammy, the fear of being left alone often causes her to lash out or become emotionally volatile. This cycle of emotional withdrawal and outbursts has only deepened the rift between Tammy and her family, making it difficult for them to repair their relationships. 7. The role of addiction. One of the less talked about aspects of Tammy's struggles is the role that addiction plays in her life. Food addiction is a real and powerful force, and Tammy's reliance on food for comfort and emotional regulation has been a significant factor in her rocky relationship with her family. Much like substance addiction, food addiction can lead to feelings of shame, isolation, and helplessness, which in turn strain relationships with loved ones. Tammy's family has often tried to intervene, encouraging her to seek help and make healthier choices. But as with any form of addiction, recovery is a long and difficult process. The fact that Tammy's addiction is tied to food, something that is essential for survival, makes it even more challenging to manage. Unlike other addictions where abstinence is the goal, Tammy must learn to develop a healthier relationship with food, which is easier said than done. Tammy's battles with food addiction